At that moment, the man picked up an old newspaper. The headline read that a car accident would occur near the phone booth at 8 p.m. that evening, and the victim's photo was none other than his own daughter. The man's face showed utter disbelief. It was exactly 8 p.m. now. Just then, his wife got out of the car and walked toward him. Suddenly, a truck came speeding by. Fortunately, their daughter was only slightly injured thanks to her seatbelt. The couple rushed toward their daughter, but suddenly the vehicle caught fire. Their daughter's desperate cries for help came from inside the car. The vehicle exploded, and their daughter perished. The man couldn't believe what had just happened. The couple divorced completely due to their daughter's death. For 3 years, the man had frequent nightmares, all related to that eerie newspaper. The next day, his ex-wife, whom he hadn't seen since the divorce, unexpectedly contacted him. She showed him a photograph, explaining that just days ago, his picture had appeared in the death newspaper. It turned out that during the 3 years she'd been gone, his ex-wife had been independently investigating clues about the death newspaper. She had discovered a writer called Shadow Man, who must have a significant connection to the prophetic newspaper. She had also investigated a 14-year-old boy who had developed severe mental problems after coming into contact with the prophetic newspaper. In just a few months, his appearance had aged to that of an old man. Led by a doctor, they visited the boy's former room. The entire space was covered with death prophecies. When the doctor confiscated his pen, he used his own feces to write. When they restrained his hands and feet, he bit his tongue and wrote with blood. Even large doses of sedatives couldn't stop him from continuing to write prophecies. They continued their investigation and arrived at Shadow Man's former residence. Similarly, the entire house was filled with death prophecies. Strangely, however, when they entered the second room, it was unexpectedly neat and clean, as if someone still lived there. The man discovered a row of videotapes under a cabinet. When he played them, he found they had been recorded in 1992, and the man in them was indeed the writer Shadow Man. The writer explained that he had once been curious about the prophetic newspapers and began collecting them everywhere. But unable to bear watching people die, he tried to change the outcomes. However, this action brought severe backlash. After saving the first person, black spots began appearing on his body. After saving countless others, the writer had transformed into what they saw before them. Eventually, he was consumed until only a pile of black ashes remained. If preventing death prophecies resulted in backlash, would he survive if he simply did nothing? What he didn't know was that once you've come into contact with death prophecies, you're destined never to escape. One day, another newspaper appeared before him, a train derailment with over 100 deaths. His wife's name was among them. Meanwhile, his wife was waiting to board the train with her colleague. The man rushed to the station and pulled his wife away at the critical moment. Due to the sudden nature of the incident, his wife forgot her colleague was still on the train. Soon, the prophecy came true. Days later, they attended the colleague's funeral. After the funeral ended, corpse-like spots began appearing on the man's body, identical to when the writer suffered backlash. How could this curse be broken? This brilliant film is called Premonition.